Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini has said that the West cannot stop them from getting the bomb. Furthermore, he's actually hinted to the idea and said that they should consider selling, commercializing their capabilities, which means perhaps proliferating nuclear technology, even nuclear bomb technology, to their allies, which includes nations such as Venezuela, Mexican drug cartels, and even Syria. Guys, where are we heading? And this is in the midst of the United States through the Biden administration in the process of negotiating a nuclear deal with Iran, which Israel has no faith in, to the point that Israel has actually called the Biden administration up and says no agreement between you and Iran will oblige us from attacking Iran. Why? Because they don't buy it. They don't believe in it. They believe the Iranians are developing nuclear weapons. Of course, the Khomeini basically, he also was off-putting, and saying things like, says, on the basis of our Islamic needs, there's no need for them to develop nuclear weapons. Let me see. Yeah, that's what he said. On the basis of our Islamic ideals, we do not want nuclear weapons. And he says, but if this wasn't the case, there would not be able to prevent us from doing so. That's a weird way to word it, though. But just like they cannot prevent our nuclear advancements so far. So, guys, but you got to realize, even though they talk like, we don't want it, they keep enriching uranium way beyond the needs for nuclear power. Now, they've claimed that was just to force us back to the negotiating table. But you know what? We were giving them $1 billion a month while they were negotiating that previous treaty that we had with them called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action that the Obama administration actually negotiated. You might remember we sent plane loads with money over there on pallets, $1 billion a month. That's $12 billion a year. You can develop a space agency and go to the moon with that kind of money. Oh, but you couldn't do a little nuclear program, right? What the world were we doing? And it's no wonder that the Israelis don't trust it, because among other things, you got to bear in mind what the Iranians were actually doing all along, because they were also doing warhead design. They were designing and building neutron initiators and mathematically modeling nuclear explosions. Just kind of thing you would do if all you were doing was developing nuclear power to run your power grid. Yeah, something's a bit missing here. So I can kind of see where Israel would be a bit anxious, considering also if you just took out Tel Aviv alone, Israel would cease to exist as a nation, and 1 or 2 nukes would end Israel. Yeah, they may have several, but they couldn't keep somebody from taking them out rather fast with a few small nukes. Now, Israel's so-called line of red line is 90% enrichment. But you got to remember, actually, so they've already gone well over 60%. And the atomic bomb we dropped on Hiroshima only had 80% enrichment. You don't have to have perfection in enrichment. So that red line, where should it really belong? We don't know. And of course, there's a lot of people says, well, Israel's got them, so Iran should have them too. And, that's hard to argue with, but, we're just seeing more proliferation. But the danger is in the kind of proliferation that Khomeini was alluding to. That kind of proliferation is highly dangerous. And that was the kind of proliferation that Khan, the father of the Pakistani bomb, was initiating at one point in his career. And he was selling nuclear technology to North Korea. We see where that went. And also to Gaddafi, Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi had the nuclear plants, but Muammar Gaddafi was fearing after he saw 9/11 that we were going to hit him. He quit his program. He stopped it. And you see what that got him. Yeah, so Kim Jong-un is still alive and Gaddafi's not. So there's all kind of incentives out there for anybody that starts a nuclear program to keep with it, because otherwise you might cease to exist. And I'm sure that also occurs on the mind of the Ayatollah over there in Iran. So, and another dimension of this is there are those who allege that that the faith that they have, the Shia faith in Iran, is at least there's a sect of that faith, And they claim this is the sect that runs the government, believes in some 12th of Mahdi that is going to come out of a well, and for all these prophecies to come true that they're looking forward to, that they practically have to have something like a nuclear war. So, I'm not saying that they really stick to that, but that is what some people put out there. So you judge for yourself. I don't know, but that is one of the data points that a lot of people put out there as a reason why they might want to go this way and a reason why it might be dangerous. To me, the main concern is the proliferation. You got to also remember what country Iran calls the Great Satan. It's not Israel, it's the United States. We're the ones they call the Great Satan. Like we're their real ultimate enemy, not uh, Israel. But Israel is the one that's planning to hit them theoretically. So, guys, this is Greg Allison with Green Gregs. If you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe, bang the notification bell, and click all. And by the way, I do have a special right now. We're going to get in this. I'm going to go into this a little bit more, but just for the moment, you got to consider with everything going on, what's this mean? Grid going down. Even if Iran doesn't develop nuclear weapons, if we hit them or Israel hits them, they think we're part of it. And we just had the biggest exercise we ever had with Israel back in January. And the whole thing was aimed at attacking Iran. So the idea that even though we're negotiating the treaty, we might not be part of that is we don't know. But Israel has said, hey, we'll go along. We'll do it along with or without the United States. And that's what Netanyahu called up Blinken and over at our Secretary of State and I won't say Obama, the Biden administration, and corrected them on. So my friends, you got to remember, get ready, because the Iranian Revolutionary Guard said some years back they had sleeper cells in America that had already targeted over 20 of our primary critical of our critical power substations that could take down our entire grid. So that would be with just direct attacks. We know they got hackers, and who knows, they might even have the capacity to do EMP attacks. And if they don't have, they might soon be exporting it if they do develop it to nations like Venezuela. And you may recall my friend Stacy Savicki had a vision in which we got attacked from offshore of Venezuela with 2 missiles that hit an EMP. And she didn't know what an EMP was or any of the strategic advantages of why it made more sense to attack from there and how it could be done. But other nations operating off the ocean from Venezuela, you wouldn't know who did it. It could be North Korea, could be Russia, could be China, could be Iran maybe, or even possibly now Venezuela if they trade with them. Oh, they wouldn't sell to Venezuela, some of you might say, but they're already selling missiles to Venezuela from Iran that could reach the United States. They just don't have, to our knowledge, anything of a nuclear capacity on. So my friends, that's why you really need to prep. You need to really get ready. That's why if you go to prepwithgreg.com right now, you can get $200 off a special for 3 months. Food to last 25 years, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Over 2,000 calories a day. And that's a lot better than a lot of the competitors. And you get these nice little pouches you can carry in your backpack. This thing is this big, sturdy seal container. You can bury this and hide it, or you can bug out with it very easy because it's lightweight. So please consider that. And there's other prepping supplies when you click the My Patriot logo, prepwithgreg.com. Now let's get back into this story here, guys, because Iran is apparently developing this stuff. If they're developing triggers, planning warhead designs, this is a little bit more than just a power plant, apparently. So what are they going to do with it? This proliferation is what's got me concerned. And bear in mind, I'm going to show you an article or two. Ding, ding, ding. Let's just jump in here and scroll up here. Iran is on the verge of a nuclear bomb and promises to proliferate it. And we got this. This is where it says the West can't stop them. They made their apology statement in here. But basically what Netanyahu and the Israelis are saying is we're going to go in. We're going to hit them. I'm not going to let you, I got to be careful. I'm not going to read from the article directly. I'm not going to just show it directly. I just scroll through it. It's not enough time to read it. I don't want to get a copyright strike. But anyway, so a lot of stuff out here, guys. And there's talk about this interim deal that we had before. Anyway. So, one of the things that they said in the dealings are making now is that what we're negotiating right now is not to roll back the enrichment they've already got. And that's something else that's got Israel quite concerned. What I was wanting to show you here is this whole deal of the Iranians taking these oil tankers, and U.S. is boosting military presence in the Mideast because of that, supposedly. So we're already kind of aiming at Israel, even not Israel, at, well, I don't know, who knows who we're aiming at, but we're aiming at Iran, even though we're negotiating with them, and may not. We've sent them a ton of money. So what is this all about, guys? There you go. That was that big exercise I talked about. Oh yeah, and the price of oil is slipping because the discussions of the possible nuclear agreement between the U.S. and Iran. So enough of that stuff, guys. In any event, if you don't get the picture that we're at risk, that we're in peril, or potentially, then maybe you're not paying attention. Now, it's hard to say how all this will unfold, but this is just one more straw on the camel's back. I mean, we've been focusing a lot on Russia and Ukraine and how that might expand, especially now that the Ukrainian counteroffensive has started, especially now that the United States has launched the Air Defender 23, the largest ever air NATO exercise in the history of NATO, coinciding with the Ukrainian offensive, and also coinciding with the date of the German invasion of Russia under Operation Barbarossa, which is really like the day before this operation is supposed to end, which will keep the Russians on pins and needles, irrespective of the fact that we may get into it with North Korea, China. I mean, there's so many things going on right now, guys. That's why you need to prep. That's why you need to get ready. Prepare yourself. Stay centered, though. Don't be scared. Be prepared. I do videos on how to eat free from the weeds and trees. Look for them below. Find them and avail yourself of that resource. Go to the big box stores, but consider these long-term food supplies too. It all should fit together if you can handle it. The free, if you can't handle free, I can't help you. Well, you might not be able to handle it if you're living in a city. Get out of the cities, my friends. Get out of the cities. But guys, we got a lot of peril today. You know, my crystal ball, about the only thing it's good for is shining a light through it. It's pretty. In terms of looking into it, you know, it's the only way you're going to see the future is to look at trends and try to figure out what real motives are. And you got to remember these autocratic people in other countries don't have the same kind of motives and thinking that we have here in the West. And I'm not sure I trust the motives of the ones that's running us either. So, guys, we're in perilous times. We're in perilous time. It's looking biblical. It is looking biblical. So get ready. Be prepared. Stay centered. And make it right with your maker, your friends, your family. Always tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know when's your last chance. But always keep that gas tank over half full and be ready. That's enough said. I'm going to say thank you for watching, and Greg out.